Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting live stream. How's everybody doing tonight? Take a peek at the chat here, see who we got. Rails of the World, what's up, dude? Officer Sturdy, Husky Rail fan. Colin, Seth, Toxic Highlighter. What's up, dudes? Alright, so I'm going to get started in a minute, but I'll give you a brief overview of what we're going to be doing. If you guys follow any of my social medias, you'll have seen a couple of teaser screenshots from me. I started working on a new route on Friday, and we're gonna stream it because I'm not gonna do videos on it. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to bring you guys in, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to introduce anybody to this yet or wait a little bit, but I feel like I made a lot of progress over the last couple of days. So I think we'll do a little work together in a moment as the chat populates. Where's everybody tuning in tonight? I see a lot of familiar names. I like knowing where you guys are watching from. Hopefully we don't have any technical problems tonight either, like last time. New York Central fan, Chris Scott, Trainman54. What's up, guys? All right, so I think I'm gonna just transition over. I'm gonna keep my eye on the chat for a minute, see what's happening. Hey, David Ackridge, what's up, dude? Welcome, welcome. We're doing something totally different today. We're not doing any P&B stuff. We're gonna work on this new route that I've kind of been playing around with in my brain for a little bit. Let's see, we got California, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arkansas. What's up, Mass 4449? I gotta move my windows around here so I can see things more easily. So I'm doing this totally switched setup here. Alright, so hopefully you guys have seen some of the teasers that I've been teasing over the last 48 hours. So I guess I'll give you some background. Let me get my notebook. I've been kind of planning this out for a few months now, actually. I think I teased my sketch on Twitter back in January. Maybe it was even December. Let me look here one time. So it probably would have been mid-January, early January. I teased a little thing. So what this is a short line. Georgia. People from Georgia, awesome. St. Louis, Missouri, UK. All right, so Florida, Ohio. So this short line is something that I've been kind of playing around with in my head for a little bit. Essentially, it's inspired by the Catskill Mountain Branch in my hometown, and kind of like if it was able to be reactivated. So the backstory that I have in my head is that this used to be a busy main line of some kind. Maybe there used to be a diamond here. So this used to be an interchange, and essentially it was deactivated a long time ago. Maybe during Penn Central days, it was less used, infrequently used, but recently it's been reactivated. So some of the tracks are in disarray. I wanted to have some kind of beat up grade crossings, tracks in the road, and I'm using a lot of these assets that are all new JR assets. A lot of them were included with the Tidewater route. So I'm just trying to I just wanted to experiment with a lot of different new assets is part of the other thing. Not only have I been thinking about this for a long time, but I've been wanting to use some of these new assets because on the P&B, I'm kind of like married to those assets, and I've talked about this before. So like I'm stuck with those assets, and a lot of them are kind of old. So I wanted to get my hands dirty with some nice new stuff, some new real Tane quality stuff. So we got a lot of these new buildings here that are from Jointed Rail. This track is also new. So for the most part, it's just like using some of the best content that I'm able to get my hands on. So yeah, so the idea is that this is recently reactivated short line. It's going to be about, I'm thinking maybe around 8 miles long, like 6 to 8 miles. And it's going to start in this sort of downtown locale with this interchange here. So freight cars will be dropped off from whatever the main railroad is here, and they'll come through this parking lot here and get dropped off at one of these tracks here. And there's only going to be a handful of industries here. Right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 industries. Maybe we'll get 6 industries. So there's not going to be a whole lot of cars. It's going to be, short trains, maybe 8, 10, 15 cars long tops. And I wanted to populate the area with a lot of these sort of abandoned spurs and abandoned tracks and stuff like that. So that's the idea there. And we'll fly down just a little bit. The first major industry is going to be a scrap dealer. And then we head out a couple of miles. And I just kind of like brainstormed out, roughed in. None of this is definitely going to stick. But I had some ideas for how I wanted things to flow and how I wanted them to look. So I kind of roughed them in for a little bit. So we're going to have a lumber retailer here. So we're going to have some center beam cars. And I kind of am building this off of like the types of equipment that I want to see. So I like center beams. Down here is going to be a candy shop of some kind. Oops. So box cars outbound of candy, and then inbound tanker cars for corn syrup. And then as we go further out, oh yeah, so by the way, we're basically going to start in a really downtowny sort of area, if you couldn't tell already. So this is going to be like a downtown city, and as we go down the main line, it's going to transition into more probably like suburban neighborhoods and that sort of thing. And then this will probably be a little bit more suburban. And then once we cross this road here, we're going to be getting into more countryside type stuff. So kind of like what I've been doing in the P&B, cornfields and that sort of thing. So that's the idea there. This is as far as I laid the track out. We're going to go upgrade as we progress through the country scenes. So right now I think it's a 1% or 1.5% grade. And this is terrain track. That's why it looks kind of silly. But obviously we're going to put in terraforming and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, like I said, I've been working on this like crazy the past... Actually, I think I worked on it all day yesterday, most of the night Friday night, and most of the day today. So, yeah. So I'm kind of in it right now. I'm in the zone, and I'm really liking the way that it's coming out so far. Like the way this track looks with these textures, and it just has like a really, beat up, I don't know, city sort of feel. So obviously I'm also taking some of my inspiration from what I've seen in Brooklyn when I was living in Brooklyn. A lot of these buildings are kind of like downtown looking buildings. Brooklyn, like 1900s brownstone-y type buildings. What track am I using? I'm not sure if this track is released yet or not. This track is JR US track number 132. And then this one is number 4, 132 terrain. So that's what I'm using here. It will be a modern route. It's going to take place today. And I would like to, ideally, I'd like to work with some of the JR guys to get some custom engines. Like right now, I've just got the Tidewater locomotive parked here. But get some kind of, maybe 2 or 3 locomotives. I'm trying to think about like what the roster would be like. But this would be sort of their yard office and staging area. And they got some ties spread out here because they're repairing the track like as they go. So yeah, that'll be that. No passenger trains planned for it. It's just going to be freight only. I mean, I guess you could conceivably do like a tourist excursion of some kind if you wanted to. But that's about that. I'm gonna peek at the chat and see what you guys are saying. Yeah, so I mean, the idea is just to have it be sort of like a rundown, small you know, short line deal. Track has just been restored, and you know, I like the way that this looks. I'm using this is a new track too that I think is included with the Tidewater route. Our track's street run, which I think just looks really cool, because it's just, you know, I don't know, it just looks real. That's all I can say about it. And I like this idea. I'm using this track on some of the crossings. I didn't use it here or here because I figured Trainz would be using these tracks more often, so they'd be more likely to get the actual crossing thing. But I wanted some of this to look like, you know, like it was paved over, and then the railroad, when they reactivated everything, they kind of just dug it up, or maybe they didn't even dig it up. They just rolled like an engine through it, busted it open, cut it open. So that's hey, NJP Vlogs, what's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. So yeah, so that's where we're at. I don't really know. One of the reasons, let me just explain why I'm not going to do videos on it. One of the reasons is because when I do videos, I do them in a certain format, and it kind of slows me down. Like if I wasn't making a video, I could probably get a lot more. I could definitely get a lot more done. Obviously, I did this in 2 days without having to do a video. But also, when I do videos, I try to keep them like in like a subject, a specific subject. So, you know, last one was the apple orchard, and then before that was the team track, and they kind of have like a theme to them. Whereas like if I was to do this, I didn't want to like, I don't know, paint myself into a corner, sort of like where I had to work on it. And I kind of jump around a lot when I'm just building off camera. I spend a lot of time jumping around and trying to pick out assets and just doing different stuff. So, let's see, what are you guys saying here? I am not using shaders on this, actually. Sorry, I'm getting a whole bunch of text messages now. So yeah, I'm not using shaders. I did adjust the environmental settings. I've been looking at what other people do to get this really nice contrasty look. And if we click on this, I've got the sun color just cranked up all the way, maxed out. And are we lagging out on this video here? Maybe not. I think we're okay. I've got that cranked up all the way, and then the ambient color I've got turned down a little tiny bit. So that's what I got set up here. Sorry, I just got a message popped up here. It said my stream health was not good for a second again. Sorry, I'm just really paranoid after last time. But it kept crashing on me. Manchester, England. Awesome. Welcome. All right, so yeah, those are my lighting settings. I'm not using any shaders or anything like that. And I really like the contrasty look. It might be a little bit too blue. I might tune it a little tiny bit more. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. I like the dark shadows, and I haven't messed around with any of the other daylight settings. I think I tuned up this one, and I think I might have done this one too. But this route runs east and west, so it kind of makes it a little bit difficult for some of the lighting because the sun is always on the same side. But yeah, that's all I've done for the lighting so far. Stoplights. Where did I get the stoplights from? I'm not sure. Are you talking about these? If you're asking about these are. Let's see if I can grab it. These should be on the download station. Traffic signal 02. There's the QID on the bottom. And then if you were referencing these are the TRC crossings. I would like to have some older, more beat up looking crossings, but these will do. And the load is just really kind of wonky on these. So I don't know. I might go over to Reggie's Trainz and check that out, but we'll see. I haven't. I'm trying to minimize the amount of non-jointed rail, non-download station assets that I use on here. So that's the plan, is to just try to have it as contained as possible. But yeah, so I'll probably only just be building this map during streams and not during streams. So it'll be a stream exclusive kind of thing. So you're seeing it here, and this is the only time you're gonna see it. So I think I think I went on long enough about what this map is. So essentially, like I said, this is totally fictional. I'm just making it up as I go along. I've had Google Earth opened up and looking at different things as I go to get some different ideas. But for the most part, I'm just totally just making it up as I go. What about this is a private owned railroad and it connects to the main line? I'm not sure what your question is. Hey, Approach, what about this is a private owned railroad and it connects to a main line? I'm not sure I understand that. All right, so I just want to continue. I guess the things that I would like to work on is I'm gonna need to fill in down this way so I can get some like actual background stuff, and then I'm just gonna continue to go down this way. And I think I had some ideas. Like I want it to look like I said, that this maybe was a busy track like a long time ago, maybe in like the 30s or 50s or something like that, but has since been in decline. So I want to have like certain areas where there's extra trackage, like for example over here I want to have a double track bridge, but there's not a second track, there's only one track. So little things to hint at the history of the railroad, because for me when I'm doing a build it really helps to have some kind of history in mind, because I mean after all that's like the soul of the thing, right? That's what tells your story. So that's my thought process there. Will we see bigger railroads like up UP and NS come through here? I mean, really, ideally, this is just going to be a short line with just, I mean, anybody, right now I haven't decided. This route doesn't even have a name. I haven't decided who's going to interchange here. Theoretically, I guess you could use anything you want. CSX, Union Pacific, Norfolk Southern, whatever. But again, this is, I'm a Northeastern kind of dude, so any kind of Northeastern rail equipment would probably fit pretty nicely in here, because that's the theme I'm going with. But the actual short line itself, I'd like to be, have its own paint scheme and everything, so it'll be an independent sort of deal. So yeah, so these are also, a lot of these are jointed rail buildings that I'm not sure how many are available yet. I know some of them are in the Tidewater map, but essentially I've been taking some of these and kind of mixing them up. So for example, I've been like kit bashing them. So this building here is actually like a bunch of buildings just like mashed together. So I just kind of lined it up. And same with some of these buildings over here, these downtown buildings. They're all individual, except for that one. That's two buildings actually. But, I've just been kind of mashing them up and putting them together to get this, to just dress up the scene the way that I want it. All right, so yeah, so I'm just using some different techniques also to give the tracks like kind of a buried look and that sort of deal. And hinting at different things. I put some ties here, like this track used to go straight, and then a disconnected track here, and then we'll continue this disconnected track for a little bit just to give a little bit of history to it. I'm not sure. I'm still really, I don't know. You guys can give me your opinion on this. I'm really on the fence about these shrubs. These are on the download station. I think that they look really great. These TB forest shrubs and bushes and stuff. My only complaint is like the smallest size shrub is like this guy right here. And they are billboard style. So I don't know. I'm trying to blend them in with regular, the STRMM speed trees, because I really like the way that those look. And I guess it works. I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence about it, because I could theoretically use these TB trees, have the a tree option. Undo. So I'm not like wild about them, but oh, that's kind of like a nice little, oh, it's a little tree. Anyway, so I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. If it works, maybe it'll work. I don't know. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's worth a shot, because these do look kind of good, but I don't know, man. It's 2018. We shouldn't be using billboard trees anymore. Like, even though they look good, this is like, we should have real stuff, I think. So Yeah, that's that. Yeah, so somebody's asking, will the trains be smaller or longer? I mean, this is the whole yard. This is the hub. So I've counted it out, and on this runaround track, I think you could fit like 8 or 10 cars. And let's see. Let's just place a couple more down. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You could probably squeeze 9 on there. So, I mean, if this got really filled up, then you're going to run into some problems. And that's kind of what I wanted. I want the idea of this to be like, not a switch puzzle per se, because, you know, those are kind of live in their own thing. But I did want it to be challenging so that, you know, if it does get really busy in here, it might get kind of tough to switch some cars. Your only runaround really is this track. I mean, I guess you could theoretically run around down here, but that's not really the idea. So yeah, anyway, that's your only runaround track. You got to work within those confines. You could add some more cars, but I think probably the whole capacity of this thing is going to be 20 cars tops. So short trains, I like short trains. They're more fun for me to, you know, switch out. You could switch out every single car, and I like the idea that, you know, just like on the P&B, every car here is going to have a destination, and you know, move it around that way. So, all right. So I think I talked enough. Let's get to work. Wow, I got almost 70 of you guys watching tonight. That's pretty good. Good turnout. So let's see. When I stopped earlier, I was just about to start working on this, the scrapyard sort of deal. So I think we'll do that, and we'll continue to fill in some of this stuff. One of the things that I really, really struggle with, and it might sound kind of ridiculous given the last couple of episodes of the P&B, is just anything that's like far away in the background. And I say that like ironically, because with the orchard that I did in the last episode, I didn't even touch a track. So it was nothing but background. But I think that might be part of my problem, is that I want to just overly detail stuff that's not totally specific to the, you know, where the user is gonna be. So I think the way that I'm gonna do this for the most part is just focus in the immediate area around the tracks, you know, like how I did here, and then I'll come back and do background stuff. I don't know, but anyway, I gotta focus more on stuff that's close. And I like the idea here too. If you get down, you know, these tracks coming up this like alleyway, you know, people's apartment is here, and I think it's pretty cool. And you can kind of peek through the alleyways of the buildings. Obviously, I'm gonna probably overly detail this. I'd like to get as much stuff in there, and I like this scene too. Tracks just kind of appear right behind the building here, kind of going up this canyon. Let's swing over here, and this is kind of like the yard throat here too, so we might do some switching through here. I don't know. So Virginia's asked me if there's going to be all city. No, this is the city is going to go probably about to here, and then we're going to start going into suburban sort of stuff, and then slowly we're going to work our way more into countryside and mountains and stuff like that. So the idea is that we're going to go from city to country, like big crazy city, and then eventually this line is going to wind its way up into the mountains. To service at the end of the line, there will be like a quarry or a cement plant or something like that. And in my head, I want the track to continue on, so it's out of service. So we'll only go about 8 miles. Let's say this whole route maybe was like 100 miles long, but they're only the first 8 miles are going to be active. So that's my idea. All right, so. Let me get my head straight here. If we're gonna do this scrap place here. So again, the customers are gonna be lumber, candy, scrap, cement, and then there's gonna be a team track. So that allows us to run center beams, tank cars, box cars, gondolas, hoppers, and then the team track you can run whatever you want. Gunslinger says in the whole length of the whole route, the whole thing is gonna be about, I'm planning for maybe 8.5 miles or so. 8.5, 9 miles, somewhere along that. But theoretically, the line would continue on, you know, for another 20 miles, but that track is like out of service. So That's the idea there. All right, so let's start over here first. And again, I'm using all these new textures. Some of them were part of the Tidewater route. Some of them are other JR assets. I'm just trying to use some nice new higher resolution stuff because the stuff that I use on the P&B is kind of, some of it's dated. I'm not saying that it's bad, but some of it's kind of dated. And that's just simply because I started building the P&B a zillion years ago. So those assets that I have that I've been using, they are what they are. So, yeah, I guess sometimes it's hard for me to picture, you know, what to put in some of these spaces with these big industries. So I, you know, tend to fill them up with parking lots, which isn't always the best idea, but it's not always the worst idea either. We've got like a garage door here too. You know, I look at these buildings and I think to myself, you know, what would they be used for? What is this building? And does it have trucks come into it? Do they need to have access to this door or not? And why not? But I'm trying to add some details in here that make it look like it was a much busier, thriving city at one time than it is now. So some of these lots are going to be empty and vacant, like buildings burned down or got knocked over. That sort of deal. So this route, I don't think I mentioned it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Ideally, this is going to be a piece of payware for on-jointed rail. Kind of like these other modules that they've been doing, like Coal Country and Tidewater. That's the hope, but I kind of started this route without talking to anybody about it. So if that doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. But I am using almost exclusively jointed rail assets. So ideally, it would be part of a big thing with content that, you know, can go with it, like specific engines and you know, buildings and stuff like that. But again, part of the problem is that I can't make like skins, like engines or cabooses or buildings. I'm a route builder, so I have to rely on other people helping me out and do that stuff. But if nobody's willing to help, then I'm kind of just on my own, and then it doesn't happen. And everybody's got their own projects they're working on too, so that makes it difficult. Because I know, like, even me too, if somebody contacted me and said, hey, Approach, you want to, you know, do this build with me? I'd be like, yeah, that sounds great. But like, you know, I'm working on the P&B. I'm working on this. I've got, you know, other videos and other things that I want to make too. So, you know, balancing all that stuff's out really tough. Yeah, I like the idea of having some like empty lots here. Part of the other bit of history that I have in the back of my mind is maybe this yard was a lot larger at one time, and a lot of the tracks were stripped out. So maybe, for example, you know, there's no buildings in here, maybe because this used to be part of this yard. So I like having that idea. I even played with the idea of putting, and I might still do it actually, putting some more rails, like crossings across the road that are abandoned. Actually, we might do that. We might do that right over here. Just to hint at, you know, this history that I'm trying to go with. But that's the idea there. And again, this was just, you know, I needed a little bit of a break from everything else that I was building, the P&B. What else am I even working on? I don't even know anymore. The main central stuff and all that. So I wanted to do something like just totally different, totally crazy. And I may have bitten off more than I can chew starting off with this like downtown area, because this is not easy. These downtown areas are really, really tricky. Because there's just so much going on. There's so many buildings you have to put down, and then, you know, how do you fill in some of these spots, and then you got to place into every individual building, and then you got to rotate it and then move it, and then there's just like a zillion things you have to do. So we're gonna put in an old track here. And maybe we'll bury some track in the dirt over there too. So again, a lot of this is inspired by the Catskill Mountain branch. Hypothetically, you know, if it was able to be fully reactivated today, the Catskill Mountain Railroad is doing their thing on it right now. They're tourist operations, but they are not connected to the National Rail Network anymore, and even though they want it to be, and whatever, that's a whole nother story. But so this is my kind of like drawing inspiration from that ideal, you know, in some crazy world where they're still able to haul freight. And it's not, I'm not copying it track for track or anything like that. It's not even like, excuse me, none of the layout is like matching that. So it's just specifically like out of my head, just taking inspiration from it. I'm taking inspiration from other things too, other places that I've been, other things that I find interesting, photographs, or places I've been to, things like that. And I see my name being tagged in this chat over here. What is going on here? Yeah, some abandoned equipment or locomotive. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Well, in terms of the rotation thing, I wish it was a little bit more like City Skylines, where when you put an asset down, you can kind of like drag your mouse, press and hold, and drag it, and it would rotate the asset. That would be really handy and helpful. Instead of having to like place it and then grab the rotate tool and do that. Because you could use, you know, it says R for rotate object. You could use those buttons, but for me, I find that my left hand is always on the arrow keys, so I can constantly move around. So, yeah, that makes it tough. It'd be nice if it was just kind of place it and drag your mouse to rotate. So yeah, also some of these grasses are this TB. Oh, I should also show you that too. This TB grass, it is really cool. Not only does it actually look really nice, but it's seasonal. All these TB assets are seasonal. So let me show you, because it's really cool. They're seasonal almost per month. So let's see, we're in July. If I go to, I'm gonna just move that down. Let's go to June. Some of the stuff disappears, which I think is a little strange. But you'll see some of the grasses get flowers on them and change colors. Looks like maybe a lot of it's disappearing. But if you go to like the springtime, I think a lot of it turns into flowering grasses and stuff. That's all disappearing. That's weird. You go to March, it's all wintertimey. February, January. So I guess it like disappears like with the season. It looks like some of these textures in the track are also seasonal, which is pretty cool. I'm not using all seasonal assets. Maybe I should do that so that at some point, if I wanted to do something like that, change the seasons. I don't know. We're lagging again. Oh my gosh. I don't know what the problem is with the lag. Let me try closing out some other things here. I still have Google Earth open. Oops. Close that. And then I got Spotify going. I could probably close Skype. What is this? That's OBS. I need to leave that open. All right. Uh-oh. You guys are telling me the stream stopped? This is telling me my stream health is okay. My stream health says that that it's fine. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that. My it says stream health is good. It did drop for a few minutes there though at 7:53 for some reason. It said no active stream. I don't know what the problem is, why it's doing this to me. Very strange. All right, let me get myself situated again. Okay. Get back over to the chat. All right. What was I doing here? We were doing this little section here. So anyway, yeah, so these seasonal grasses and trees and stuff like that are really cool if you're looking to do something that is seasonal. You know, that'll change with whatever season you want to do. And I think that that's pretty neat for like session building and stuff like that. I do like the idea a lot. So, all right, we're just gonna do some of that. Maybe we'll throw some rail down in the weeds. I like the idea of that. Let's grab our beat up rail here and we will bury it just a little tiny bit. Let's grab it off of that. Switch over to grid mode so I can make sure that this track is straight. So yeah, just having like some of these buried tracks or hidden tracks, old tracks, anything like that, just to make it seem like at some point this was a lot more of a busy main line than it is now. So that's the idea. Is my voice echoing? You guys, somebody's telling me in the chat that my voice is echoing. What does that even mean? I can only hear my voice through my own audio monitor. I guess if it's echoing, there's not really much I can do about it. Kind of weird. So many problems. We're gonna delete some of these sections of track. I think we'll delete that one and this one. No echo. Okay, strange. All right, so let's adjust our terrain. I think I found that, let's take a measurement what I was using here. I think like 0.25 or 0.15 I think is the height, yeah, that we want to just start to cover it. And I think that that's probably what we're gonna wanna do. Where are we here? Hide that. We have to lock the track height to 0. There we go. Okay, good. So, and of course we can go a little bit higher with it, maybe 0.2. To bury it just a little bit more. Yeah, that's cool. I'm liking that. We can even go up to 0.25 in some areas. Really just kind of hide it a little tiny bit. Let's go up to 0.3 maybe. Yeah, there we go. That's neat. And another cool technique. Oh, you know what we should have done? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I should have used that other track. Yeah, I think we're okay. Is this Trainz a new era? Yes, this is Trainz a new era. How does the interchange is not cut off? It goes through this parking lot here. So part of the backstory again with this is that these tracks were inactive for long enough that a building was built and this parking lot was put in, and the tracks were paved over or whatever. The line was never fully disconnected. It still existed, but it was out of service long enough that a whole building was built and parking lot was assembled around it, and now the trains have to just go right through this whole parking lot. Move the grade crossing signal back like it was double track, but they never moved the gates. Yes, I do like that idea too, and I should probably do that over here. So let's do that here. Yeah, I like the idea of that. Lots of these like little hidden things. And for me, and it's the same thing like I was doing on the P&B with the orchard in last episode, I like these areas that aren't directly on the tracks or adjacent to the tracks. Like, I guess I just like the idea of being able to hop off and explore a little tiny bit. And just get like a real sense of place and time and that sort of deal. And it's kind of like, you know, Easter eggs. It's just it's a little Easter egg that when you go to operate it and you get tired of driving some trains, or it gets a little bit boring, or you're on like a long stretch of main track that you're just kind of falling asleep, you can look around and be like, oh, that's neat. That's a nice detail. Oh, look, there looks like there used to be an industry here. And then for me, at least, like that gets my imagination going, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's cool. I wonder what that would be like with the trains, to see trains running there, or I wonder what that was like back in the day. Stuff like that. So we're going to pretend that these doors are not used anymore. I don't want to completely cover it. See, I just wish that some of these shrubs were smaller. They're so freaking huge. Maybe this guy's a little bit smaller? No. Let's move some stuff around. Let's just move that. Peeking at the chat. Wow, 76 people watching tonight. That is almost a new record. I think the highest I had was when we were talking with Bill M on the P&B, and I had 90 something, 92 or 95. I can't remember what the exact number was. So that's pretty cool. I guess, you know, working on something different helps. What do you guys prefer to watch? Me build, I guess, theoretically, or just anybody. Do you like the fictional stuff, or do you like, you know, like if it was like a Union Pacific build or a CSX build or something like that? You know, what is your preferred thing to watch? Is, I guess, kind of simply what I'm asking. Just out of curiosity, because I find that some of my videos that are, like my P&B videos get a certain number of views, and then if I do something like that's based on an actual prototype, people seem to watch it much more. So I'm just curious. Fictional stuff. Sort of both. Yeah, kind of mixed answers there. CSX, yeah. What's this building? Derelict apartment. I think I might have placed this down. So I'm kind of at the same time going through. Oh, that's perfect. Oh man. And just, you know, as I'm scrolling through some of these buildings here, I just kind of throw them off to the side, sort of as a palette, so I can come back and revisit to it. Try Forest Summer 5055. Doesn't look like I have that. Unless I spelled something wrong. Forest Summer. I downloaded all of the TB stuff. Well, these two look not too bad, actually, for billboard trees. I wish there was a better way to stay up to date on stuff that goes onto the download station, because I'm sure there's tons of new stuff going up there all the time, but, like, I never know. You know, you have to, like, there's not even a way to sort, I don't think, on the download station, like, by new, like, or recent uploads or anything like that, which would be super, super handy if they had that. Derelict barrel. So yeah, I want to I want to just go crazy and detail all of this stuff, but I know at the same time there's limitations. If I go too crazy with the details and people can't run it, they're going to be very mad. because I overly detailed it. Ooh, what is this? That might be cool to put somewhere. I don't know where. Let's just put it off to the side for now. What is this song? Next. I've got this playlist I'm playing right now is from Epidemic Sound. They have a playlist for streaming. I haven't listened to it before, so I'm not really too thrilled with it right now, to be honest with you. Old cars. Oh yeah, so I'm looking for stuff to put into here, and I usually use a lot of similar stuff. This song's terrible too. What are you guys saying here? It'd be nice to have a supermarket. Yeah, maybe. That could be good. All right, so yeah, just looking for just derelict piles of junk, just to add a little bit of texture. Other than just the ground texture. So throw that down. This guy's got a good assortment of fridges. Yeah, and I mean, if you guys can think of a name for this too, that would be helpful, because I don't have a name right now. It's just called Short Line Starter or something like that. So I'd be interested to hear what you guys think I should name this thing, because I've been trying to throw around some ideas in my head, and I'm really bad with naming things. When it comes to naming stuff, it's just, I don't know why. I think I'm just too I'm too straightforward of a person sometimes, I think. Too I don't want to say literal, but I tend to be a little bit like that. Let's see what else we got. I always love these assets, man. And I'm so sad that some of the assets that I was using on the P&B are just not really available anymore, like some of the dry brush and stuff like that. It's just really, really nice to be able to use that. Wow, that thing is beat. This might be interesting to put someplace. Oh, I think I know where I could put that. Oh, yeah. I know where we're putting this. We're gonna put this down here on the abandoned track. Yeah. And then we'll have to, let's just push it all the way down here. I always like the idea of these like landlocked train cars too. Oh, look at that, it's lined up perfectly. Perfect. Okay. That's cool. All right, come back down here. Furniture is always good. And one thing I notice with these things is that they'll have like, they'll be like sorted out, these like scrap yards. So you'll have like an area where there's cars and trucks, and then an area where there's just a bunch of refrigerators, and then an area that's just scrap metal and that sort of deal. Some washing machines. Again, I don't want to go too crazy. I'm going to rely somewhat on the texturing, the ground texturing. What is this building? No. What do we got here? That's nice. What's this? This is not on the download station. Again, I have to be aware when I see that little KUID thing down there turn red, then I'm like, probably shouldn't use it. Unless it's a JR thing, because then I can't get it. Let me look at what your chat here is. Let's see what your ideas is. Yeah, I don't... Utah and Rockies short line. Well, I mean, it's supposed to be a northeastern kind of feel, but I don't know. Plant City, Florida. Can some of the derelict stuff be on its side? Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to throw some of it down, the stuff that I want to use. And then we're going to come in and really dirty it up. But what I also need to do here is figure out how this is going to be organized. So what I want to do is add... We need a spot for like trucks to come in and out. So we're gonna make an opening here. And Jacob Oliver, what's up, dude? Welcome. All right, so I'm trying to imagine, you know, how something like this would function, and this is like a really big scrapyard too. You would want to have trucks come in as well as the freight cars, and we'll need a gantry crane maybe. Let's see if we have a good one. I've seen some pretty decent gantry cranes, but some of them are just too big. Like that one is just way too big. So not liking any of these. Where's the gantry crane? Maybe it's just called crane. Let's look. This might work. That's a nice little crane. CNR overhead crane. That's too big. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second, guys. This playlist is killing me. It's terrible. I gotta put something else on. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right. Yeah, so we're looking for a crane. Just some kind of small, that's way too big. Some kind of a small crane to lift some stuff out of the gondolas. Am I back to the top? No. And I've seen, and I've probably used it before too, like a nice gantry crane. That's cool. Oh man, guys, I can't wait for the next. I guess did I cycle through this already? I can't wait for the next update, really, because I hope that this is fixed, this pinwheel thing, because it is so obnoxious. And like the spikes, the lag spikes that I'm getting in my game, I think are related to that as well. This'll do. Oh my gosh, I just hope that is fixed in the next update. I'm assuming that probably more is going to break too, because that's what always happens. But hopefully more is fixed. Crane 1, no animation. I'll look that up. Do I have that in here? Crane. I don't believe I have Crane 1, no animation, so I might have to download that. But I'm kind of liking this. This one's kind of cool. Do that there. I'm trying to remember what I used, and this one will work too. I'm trying to remember what I used on the P&B for. I had some equipment, some like excavators, and I'm trying to remember what the heck they were. Let's see, that's got to go here. And then, okay, so we've got that. Is it in here? Oh, yeah, it's right there. That's too big. That is nice. That's too big, though, for this little thing. I think what I got is fine. There's not supposed to be... It's a long scrapyard, but it's not really a huge scrapyard. Yeah, my cursor was on it. All right, that's. You guys ever heard of something called the YouTube effect, where you just like can be staring at something and just not even see it? It's just right in front of you. It happens to everybody. NJP Vlogs says that some of the beta looks good, but some of the old bugs and errors exist. Whatever. I like this song. All right, what are we looking for? Man, my nose is itchy tonight. Jeez. We need Sorry, I kind of just like threw out all these assets that were just laying around. Oh yeah, so I was looking for the, I guess maybe let's search cat, because I think it was like cat equipment. I remember it being yellow. There are STRMM shrubs. Yeah, I've seen those too, and I'm not too sure I like them. What do we got here? No. I just, you know, like, it's one thing, that's a nice asset. It's one thing for assets to, for like the trees to move and stuff like that, but I don't know if I really like the shrubs, like the speed shrubs. You know, they're too small and they kind of just, they just like jiggle, like a piece of, like a Jello mold is what it reminds me of. What do you say, magnetic hook? Yeah, I think that's the one I'm looking for. I just want to see if there's any other assets in here that I might want to use. What do you have? You must have your game open too. Searching for stuff. What is this? Huh. There's some weird stuff in this game, man. What do we got here? Oh, that's kitty. It's an actual kitty. Oh, we got to put that in somewhere. Where are we gonna put this little cat? Oh, we gotta find a good spot for him. Maybe just over here. Here we go. Alright, so we're still looking for, so you said magnetic crane. Terry Bolden, what's up, dude? Rochester and Southern Model Railroad. Tell me about that. I live in Rochester, New York. Is that the same Rochester? I don't think I let me open up Content Manager here. Oh, let me save first. I had a hard crash earlier today, and it's like really scaring me. I never have hard crashes. Like, usually it'll just lag for forever, but today it just literally dropped out for some reason. I'm gonna search the download station here. Magnetic. And of course, this is gonna take like a million years to search. Magnetic bridge crane. Let's see what that looks like. That's cool. And then, why? Thank you, David. The assets help. Having good assets definitely makes a big difference. Let's see, electromagnetic crane. Yeah. I might have to go blow my nose quick. My nose is tickly. I don't think any of these are gonna work. They look like they're part of like a train car. There was one that I have though. That I used on the P&B. I thought, let's go back to cat and see if maybe it's in here somewhere still. We'll have to add some dump trucks as well. That thing's cool. Mudcat. If I do recall, though, it might have been a little bit too... Oh, that's it. Yeah, too bright. That's kind of cool. I don't like these just bright neon colored assets. Well, yeah, I take too long finding stuff because, you know, I want to... That's why things look good. You gotta, you know, put a little thought into it. That's part of the reason why I didn't want to do videos with this, and I'm kind of even hesitant to stream this too, because I do spend a lot of time looking for stuff, and you know, especially when I'm looking for something specific, I got something that comes to my mind, and I'm like, oh, I gotta use that thing because that's the only thing that's really gonna fit. So I do my best to try to find whatever that thing is. We started streaming an hour ago. And I'll probably stream for maybe another hour. So, yeah, we'll see. Where am I going to release this? This is hopefully, possibly, potentially likely to be a jointed rail thing. Hopefully. That's my hope. That's my plan. peeking at the comments here. Jackson Rail fan. Yeah. I'm Rochester, New York, man. Just moved out here almost exactly a year ago. Guys, actually, I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary from leaving New York City and moving out to Western New York. I don't know if I'm happy about that or not. All right. What are we doing? All right. So yeah, we're doing this. I'm just trying to think of like what other details and stuff that I've used in these areas. Like we could put down some like old road signs. Like I was saying, like with these refrigerators, things tend to be kind of sorted out a little tiny bit. So you'll have a bunch of the same things stacked up in one place. So that way, I guess, you know, whatever these guys do here, I don't know if they sell these things to people for parts, but it just makes it easier for them to be like, all right, yeah, and here's our selection of refrigerators. Our fine selection of, we have Frigidaire and whatever else. Yeah, dude, let me know the railfan spots out here. I haven't been out too much. Have not been railfanning too much out here. But the weather is also terrible, so I just don't really go outside when it's 20 degrees out. We need some pipes. I think, methinks we need some pipes. Let's see. Ooh, I hate when I do that. Clumsy fingers. Alright, let's see. That's too big. We want, like, oh, that's a good thing right there. We want just like a select. Oh, look at these things here. Oh man, that would have been so useful for that main central build with the oil refinery there. Holy, I gotta remember these things. That was such a pain. Okay, perfect. We got these big pipes here. So we're gonna move. Oop, oop. That's always a nice bug too, when it just starts rotating like crazy. We're gonna put this over here. Okay, we're gonna throw that there. Some of this stuff is just gonna be like strewn about. And I don't think it really starts coming to life until we start adding grasses and shrubs and stuff like that, because the textures only go so far. Then once you start adding other stuff, it really brings it all together. And by other stuff, I mean the grasses, shrubs, if you're adding other buildings, power lines, and other clutter and visual noise, as I like to call it. Where are the JR downtown buildings? They were released during the 12 Centuries of Christmas release. That don't ask me when that's ever gonna be re-released, but that's when they were put out. They are included with the Tidewater content pack, the Tidewater map. So I think maybe if you downloaded the Tidewater map, you'll get them, because I know they're included in that content pack. Corrugated fence 1942. Yeah, that is a good one. What kind of graphics card do I use? This is a GTX. It's an MSI GTX 1080 Ti. So I managed to pick it up last fall before the prices went completely outrageous. I got really lucky. I found a great deal on Newegg, and I got it for, I want to say I got it for $750. Which is like a steal, since like right now it's going for well over $1,000. And that was made possible by you guys, for all your kind donations and your views, YouTube stuff, you guys buying Franklin Avenue and things like that. That helps me out. So that was my way of improving the quality of my videos. And if you go back to my early videos, I was just running a GTX 960. You'll definitely see a big difference in quality. And I'm gonna have to restart this map because now it's not letting me place assets. Right? No, let me place that tree. It's weird. Yeah, right after I bought the 1080 Ti, it shot up in price. Like, just a couple weeks later, it was ridiculous. So I got in at the right time, And I'm really, obviously, I'm very happy that I did. Because right now, I think I checked, my buddy was building a computer recently, and he was like, oh, I want to get that 1080 Ti that you have. And I looked online, and it was like more than twice what I paid for it. I was like, yeah, you might not want to do that right now. All right, let's see. We're gonna throw down a couple more little shrubby things here. I'm gonna have to mix in some small shrubs because I definitely need something smaller. Yeah, this is not gonna work. Unless there's a version of this. Some of these, like the JVC stuff, has like individuals, and I kind of wish that this did too. I copyrighted M83. This is all, there shouldn't be any M83 in there. This is all music from epidemicsound.com. This is music I use in my videos, so there shouldn't be any copyright problems on it. Alright, so what I need to do... Oh, we got this cool thing here, this cart crusher. I forgot about this. Squeeze this in. There we go. What's up, Jimmy Productions? Welcome to the stream. Alright, so that's starting to take some shape. I gotta get some small shrubs and stuff in there for sure. Grasses and shrubs. And oddly enough, with the lighting that I set up here, the grassy looks terrible. Like, look at this, the grassy grass that I usually use. That was the other reason it motivated me to use this TV grass. It looks awful. Like, even the dead grass, it's like black. So it doesn't really do too well with the lighting changes, apparently. But now I gotta find some other kind of dry stuff like this. Because I like these dry, whatever, groups of stuff. Let me just do a search. Dry. And I know I'm still gonna come up with some of the stuff that I've been using. Actually, this is good. Dry track. This can go next to it. And it's so... You can barely even see that. It does help, though. It does add a little bit to it. Especially if we change the lighting a little tiny bit. So we'll just put a couple of those down. Put one over here as well. See, I don't know how long it's going to take me to build this thing. Also because, like... I do plan on making videos, my normal videos, P&B and Main Central when that comes back and that sort of thing, so... I'll be building this on the in-between free time. But we'll see. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. I like that, I like how grown in this is, and it just kind of has this... tunnel of, you know, this not industrial tunnel, but this urban tunnel. That's the word. It's like an urban tunnel. All right, so we got that going. We need to add some other details over here. What do we want? I got some nice power lines today at the recommendation of Nick at Jointed Rail. These power lines are called... they're from the Laurel line. If I can select it, I might have to just search it. There we go. Laurel line pole, and there's a whole bunch of them, and they're all on the download station, and they just look super, super nice. Really high resolution, really nice, clean look. I think somebody had mentioned, though, that there's no load to them, so that they're kind of like performance hogs a little bit, but whatever. We're going to try them out anyway. We'll go down this way. One thing I struggle with too is like connecting roads. I always want the roads to go someplace. Like, where's this road going to? Like, in my head, it has to like have purpose and actually be going somewhere, but it's not really necessary to do that. But I don't know, it's one of those things that I get in my head and I'm like, wait, why am I wasting time on this? I don't need to be thinking about this. Not important. This building, let's put... So what I want to do is try to mix in some like office type buildings or apartment buildings and stuff like that. So the idea with this area is that it's going to be, this area is kind of industrial, and then we've got these old brownstone buildings here, 1900 style. So these would all be like apartments. But then as we go out, we'll have some houses, and this is supposed to just be like almost a former industrial type area, but not necessarily still fully like that. Let's get rid of that. Actually, no, I want to use this one too. Let's put this guy down with the other one, so we'll have 2 abandoned freight cars back here, because I think that that's kind of neat. And then, yeah, so this is like the downtown area, sort of, so we need to have some office buildings and some fast food places and maybe a school and all those sorts of things. There we go. And we'll even couple them up. Cool. I like that. What roads are these? These are also JR roads. So this is a Yarn JR road, and there's a few different variations. And then so is this one over here. This is just the unmarked. They're pretty thick. They don't actually have the sidewalks next to them. I laid those out myself, but you can see that they're quite thick, which is okay. I guess it helps with the terrain and stuff like that. So they're nice. They work. What I'm going to do is I will connect up a lot of these too with like invisible roads so that the cars don't just appear and disappear. I like it when the traffic actually goes and has purpose. I might even go so far as to connect up like these traffic lights with, I don't know if I can. These aren't the Yarn. Was it the Yarn ones? I think it was the Yarn one, or the Atlas ones. There's Atlas crossing lights that you can program to change with your signals and stuff like that. So I was even considering doing something like that. So anyway, I want to fill this in a little tiny bit to give it a little bit more of a place, a sense of place. And I don't want to use too many low resolution buildings close to the tracks. We could do stuff like this. And then, I wonder, like, how close do I need to go? I guess if we're going to pretend, if we're talking about this being like an old rail bed here, then having that gap is fine. So let's add a sidewalk through here. Wherever my sidewalks are. This is a Yarnish sidewalk that I'm using, which I think looks pretty nice. I wish it was an easy way to tell like which direction you're like it needed to face. We'll drag it all the way down to this intersection here. We'll put that there. And then we can start putting in some buildings here as well. That looks cool. I like that. And I don't think I'm going to add a sidewalk going down the other way. So we'll line that up. That's cool. So also with the new JR buildings, there's not just the downtown buildings, there's also these industrial buildings. Sorry, I'm just checking out the chat here. Yeah, so these industrial buildings, I think there was some talk about making some different skins for them, so there's more variety, which would be pretty cool. But I mean, right off the bat, they look really nice. They're some of them are a little bit beat up, a little too beat up, but I think for the most part, I think they serve their purpose here. Maybe we can even add like an old, Like there was an old spur over here as well. Kind of like that. Like this whole area that I'm doing here reminds me of downtown Brooklyn, where I used to live. I miss it. I'll just butt this up against this building. Just make it one big sort of industrial thing. You know, down in New York City and a lot of these other really busy industrial places, they just did that. They just had buildings like crammed on top of each other. That one's a little bit too beat for me. So let's see if we want to have one that looks like maybe it had like an old loading dock or something like that. And this one's pretty cool. And it does... Maybe we could try... I think it's too big. That would be good to pretend like this was the old loading dock underneath. How can I make this work? Because that just goes over the road. It's too big. Maybe some other place. Maybe we could put it just down here on the abandoned side. Would I consider using the TB grass on the P&B? The thing is with the P&B, man, if I keep trying to update the assets that I'm using with new stuff, I'm never, ever, ever going to get it done because it's just going to be a constant cycle. So at this point, I'm just sticking mostly with the assets that I've been using and sticking with that palette, and I'll just live with it. And then maybe one day down the road we can update it. But for the most part, it's just... the assets that we're using there are pretty much going to be the assets that we're going to be living with, because if I start putting new stuff in there like this, and I've got all this old stuff in there, it's not going to match. It's going to look really weird. I'm still looking for... That one's not bad. Well, anyway, maybe we don't need something with an actual... like, what do you call it? Like loading platform or anything like that. What's up, Aaron Hurst? It's going good. How about you? Chilling, hanging out. Let's see. How do we want to orient this thing? We'll just do that. And then we could even add another road here. This is another thing that I was doing. Adding, where is it? Sort of like these dead end roads here. And there's one here. And in fact, like this one almost connects. Like maybe at one point, it was just a continuous road. And then when they built the railroad, maybe they broke it up or something. I mean, anything like that. Any sort of backstory, whatever tickles your fancy. But we will put another one over here. Plus it breaks up these big, long, straight sections. There we go. And I'll have to try to get rid of the traffic on some of them too, because definitely don't like the idea of cars just appearing and disappearing. And then we could bust this up. There we go. Aaron Hurst? No, I do not. We do not have a name for this route. We were talking about that earlier. That I do not have a name for this yet. So, open to suggestions. It is a short line. So, I'm not sure. I'll have to come up with something. Right now, it's just called short line module or something. I forgot what I called it. So, we gotta come up with something. And then we can come up with a paint scheme. That'll be fun. See, where are we? Put this here. See, I always do these backwards. There's a 100% chance that I'm going to put the spline down in the wrong direction, no matter what. There we go. And of course, I'll come back and do another pass through with finer details like signs and like stop signs and dead end signs and stuff like that. So those will be added eventually. Let's add another track here. I don't know what I was lined up on. That looks straight. Actually, yeah, you know what? I'm going to use this track. JR Spur #1. Because this is some nice track if we're going to be making like a out of service looking dealio. This is perfect. Just bring it to there because we're going to bury it for the most part. And we'll even put another track in here too. Why not? Let's just do something like this. Paint would be green and black. Wyoming and Genesee. New York and Western Railroad. You guys got some good suggestions. The Utah and Rocky Short Line. It's not. No, it's not going to be. It's not a Midwestern route. The roads, I believe, are on Jointed Rail's website. I think a lot of the stuff that I'm using, to be perfectly honest with you, came from the content pack, the Tidewater content pack. So, I mean, the route is free. You can go download that route and get all the content with it. The only thing that you're not, I don't actually know what's not included with that. We're gonna delete this section. Junkyard dog, yeah, if there is a dog. All right, so we got a couple of tracks here. They're gonna be like our abandoned looking tracks. Oh, my nose is still so tickly. I don't know what the problem is. And then we gotta set the level so it stays at 0, and then we're gonna raise the ground around it, and then we can texture this, make it look cool. That'll be that. So we're just gonna hide some of this like this, and then we can drop this down to 0.15 as well. Hide it like this. Adds kind of a little bit of spill, which is neat. And let's go back to 0.30. And you know what, we'll even go, how high can we cover? I want to cover some of the rail like entirely. There we go, we got that. Let's cover this. So I like covering the end. I like when it's like one rail is a little bit longer than the other, sort of. There we go, it's kind of like just peeking out. There we go, that's cool. Maybe we should do 0.15. I don't think it's my allergies because there's still snow in here. It's like 20 degrees, so no allergies yet. You'll know when I get my allergies. I'll be like, I'll be all raspy and more raspy than normal. Stuffed up, horrible. I get really, really bad allergies. Okay, but it seems like we might just go from winter to summertime. I don't know, because it doesn't seem like we're gonna have any spring. It's almost, we're the middle of March, and the high for tomorrow is 25. It's like unseasonably cold. But you know what? I mean, is I'll take the cold as long as it means that it doesn't rain all of April, because I don't know if you guys, where you guys all live, or what the weather is like where you guys live, I should say. But up here in New York, last spring, it freaking rained the entire, when I left New York at the end of March, and it rained the entire month of April and most of June. I think there was like 2 sunny days, and it was just the worst. There was so much flooding. It was terrible. So I guess I could tolerate the cold if it means that it's not going to rain for an entire month continuously, because I'm going to lose my freaking mind if that happens. Yeah, anyway, welcome to Rochester. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we got that. That's looking neat. Oh, I see a little piece of tile there. And then we can start bringing in some grass and shrubs. I like the way that looks. We need to... you know, this feels like it needs something, though. It feels like maybe we need a little bit of a parking lot back here. I think. And a fence. A little bit of a parking lot and a fence. I think that's what we need. Niles and Eastern Railroad. That's a cool name. We could put one over here as well. So that's what we will do there. And we could... Let's see, how much room do I have enough room for an actual parking lot is my question. We could add some parking. Yeah, I guess I would go ahead and say that this is... Sure. Did I go to the Trainz show in Springfield this year? I did not. I wanted to go, but it was like the weekend before I went to Texas to visit my brother. So I was like, yeah, I can't. It's too much traveling as it is. Can't do it. So I did not go this year. I do plan to go when I can. Hopefully next year, or if there's any other Trainz shows, I'm going to try to go to them. I don't really buy anything. Because I don't have any money, for one. But also, I just haven't had the space for a model in a long time. So, haven't really bought anything. Although, you guys can let me know if you're interested, and I might do it. I've been playing around with the idea in my head of doing some actual scale model railroading type stuff on my YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys have any interest in that, but I figured that might be a good way to build up my my subscriber base a little tiny bit. Maybe I'll do like a little, do like a diorama or something like that. I don't have like a ton of space, but I have a little bit of space. And if it's something you guys are interested in, and might be able to pull it off. Get me a list of Trainz shows in Rochester. Yeah, that would be great, Jackson Rail fan. That would be really awesome. I did go to the Seneca Lines. I mean, that's not a Trainz show, but I went to their model railroad, which is right up the road from where I live. I did visit them just a couple weeks ago, and they had an open house. Give me this fence. And there was a Trainz show that I went to at RIT a couple of months ago too, but that wasn't anything too amazing. In terms of like the model stuff, this closet that you see behind me is completely full of N scale stuff and some HO scale stuff. I have enough stuff that I could build an entire like N scale empire if I wanted to. So it's just a matter of what kind of a project I could decide to do and how I would do it. I could do some freight car weathering and stuff like that. Would be pretty neat. Yeah, I wouldn't. If I did like a little layout, it wouldn't be anything. It would be little. I'd have to do like a 2 foot by 4 foot, or maybe I could do something up to 6 feet. But I was thinking if I do it, it would be cool to do like it might be cool to do like hand laid track or scratch built buildings. You know, some kind of like big time projects like that. Something, of course, that I could make a good series of videos out of and stuff like that. Like, I don't think I'm great at it, but, you know, it would be a learning experience for everybody. I know I'm really good at weathering. I can tell you that. I've tweeted some of my weathering work in the past. So that might be of interest also if I did something like that. Just do like a weathering video, like how I do my normal videos, like a time lapse. But the other thing is, I need to get, if I'm gonna do that, like I need to get lights. Because I don't have, even though I am a filmmaker and you know, that's my thing, and I'm a photographer, videographer professionally. I own cameras, but I don't own any lights. So I would need to buy some lights. I see my name pinged a bunch of times over here in the chat. I'm gonna take a look. Utica, Albany, and Eastern. That's cool. Yeah, maybe a little modular layout or something like that would be fun. You know, something that I could tweak and build over time. Nothing crazy, nothing huge, nothing super fancy, but something to just experiment with some techniques and that sort of thing, because I do miss that. I do miss doing that stuff, so it'd be nice to get back into it and use some of the stuff that I've acquired over the years. And of course, like, you know, if I'm doing videos on it and those videos get some attention and I make some money off the videos, I take that money and I put it right back into what I do. I reinvest any money that I make on my YouTube videos or any of the donations you guys give to me or anything like that. Goes right back into the channel to buy equipment or anything like that. So if I did a modeling video and it took off, I would certainly be able to turn that around and reinvest anything that I may have earned off of it right back into it. I don't like that grass. All right, you guys are enjoying this. That's good. Good. Again, this is just, you know, trying out some different stuff, using some new assets, using some different techniques, just trying to get this idea that I have in my head out of this sort of short line, half abandoned sort of thing. And, you know, in just like 3 days worth of work, or, you know, I mean, let's see, if I worked on this for 6 hours yesterday and I worked on it for maybe 3 hours Friday, so that's 9 hours, and maybe 2 hours today, 10, 11, so less than 15 hours worth of work, maybe 10 to 15 hours worth of work. I feel like I made a pretty decent amount of progress. That's looking pretty decent. But again, you know, it helps, for me, it helps to actually have something in my head already. I had this idea, I kind of knew, I had the vision already, you know? So once you get kind of a vision going, and you can just kind of bang it out pretty quick. All right, let's see. We need to do some shrubberies. Do I have another crossing over here? Yeah. The other thing that I like about this is frequent grade crossings. I am a big fan of switching. I'm a big fan of grade crossings and that sort of thing. So it keeps things interesting to me. And I always talk about this, that I'm not really a mainline railroading doesn't really interest me too much. So it gets kind of boring. You just get your train up to speed and then it's just going, and you know, it's nice to watch the scenery go by, but I need a little bit more action. I guess I've got like some kind of ADD or something like that. I just need to be a little bit more immersed and what's the word I'm looking for? Present, I guess. I don't know, with what I'm driving. Let's see, we need some of these shrubs too. The other thing that's kind of hard with these shrub assets is they blend nicely, but I don't know, I feel like sometimes it starts to feel a little bit like repetitive and like stamped out, I guess. So you gotta mix them up a little bit. I think that really stems from the fact that they're all the same size. They're all big. So if there were like a few smaller ones, that would be helpful. And I've kind of been, some of them, like just clipping them into the ground a little bit to give the illusion of different heights, like just taking it and going like that. So it's a little bit shorter and a little bit stubbier, but it works. Gets the job done. The other thing with these is you got to be really careful you don't clip them through each other like that. I mean, maybe it's not a big deal for some people, but that throws me off big time, like when it's clipped through. I don't know. So I'm trying to be conscious of that. Lots of grade crossings can be loud. Well, I don't like the bells. I don't use grade crossings with the bell active because that drives me bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Especially, it's not just the repetitive noise. Like I'm one of those people that repetitive noise like a bell or something like that drives me nuts. So I try to avoid that for one, but also in this game, it's just so stinking loud. Like, you can hear the bell from like across the map. It's like, oh my god, it's not necessary. Is this on the download station? Okay. I'm looking for anything. I gotta make sure that I'm not picking... See, these G grasses, some of them are on the download station and some of them are not. Which is weird. Oops. But I just want to blend in. Not everything, even though it's like summertime and stuff, not everything is always green. So we're gonna just plant a few of these down. I wonder if there's got to be a JVC version. That's too light. So the JVC stuff is really nice, but I think like over time, you could see it's almost like see-through. I think that since the resolution of the game changed and the assets didn't, like they kind of got a little bit more transparent. Just want to see if I can find something. Ooh, that's not bad. And of course, I can't see anything in my preview, so I have to place it all. A lot of the same stuff. Or similar. Oh, that's not grass. That's not bad. Oh. What was this? Oh, is this gonna... the load doesn't seem right. I'm not gonna use that. Alright, let's move that over. That's not bad. We can hide that in there. Alright, so I guess these are looking okay. They're a little bit dark, and it's a little tall. I guess that'll have to work, especially since the grassy stuff doesn't look good either. Ooh. So, I don't know. I guess that's that. Let's, alright, so what do we need to do here? We need to add a couple more shrubs over here. Put one here. Oh, we need some trees! That's what we need. How can I fit the trees? And that's another thing with these, the STRMM trees. I keep looking at like the size. You gotta make sure that you get like the right size. I don't want anything too big. I don't like that tree at all. I don't know why I picked it. I don't want any big trees because like something like this is too big, because if this was supposed to be like an old, you know, railroad right of way, those trees would have grown up like in the last 50 years or so. So they wouldn't be giant like that. So I'm keep looking for like, that's not bad. Like smaller 15 meter, like 10 meter, 15 meter trees. And I keep coming across like the same ones, similar ones at least. Let's see, this is 15. And then I think these are all the, what is this? That's a nice little tree. I know some of these ones are the apple trees that I had picked for, these are nice little ones. Nice golden color too. Some of them are the apple trees that I picked out for the last P&B. Let's sneak you over here. Oop. Rotate it a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I mean, those are cool. It just has like little accents here and there. Do I have an N-scale layout? No, not anymore. I did. I had a little main central paper mill module layout that I had built a few years ago, many years ago actually at this point, now that I'm thinking about it. And when I moved from one apartment in Brooklyn to another apartment in Brooklyn, I had to dismantle it and throw it out because obviously I kept what I could, but the apartment that I was moving into, which was the apartment that I just left, a year ago. I didn't have the space for it because it was a studio, and there was just absolutely no room for even a small layout. The thing was only like 6 feet by 1.5 feet deep, 2 feet deep, or something like that. It was not big at all, but we didn't have the space for it, so had to go. But I have all the parts for it. I've got everything. Like I said, it's in the closet that's right behind me. So I have everything to either rebuild it if I wanted to, or build a new one. I'd like to do something different. I don't know what I would do though. Like, I like the idea. It would have to be like some kind of small industrial thing, or just a diorama that didn't really have any real operation to it. I kind of like the idea of doing a diorama at first, just to see if I can get my groove back, practice my model building skills, and you know, that sort of deal, before actually committing to a, what does that look like? No, committing to like something bigger. Is all my equipment main central? I think I have a CSX loco and a Conrail loco, and maybe like a what is it? Atlantic Coastline, maybe, I think is what I have. But other than that, it's really just, it's main central. I don't even have that many. I've got the RS11, and I think I have 4 GP38s. And I bought all that stuff before. I bought it all probably at this point almost 15 years ago. Let's see, somewhere between 10 and 15 years ago, because that was before I was living in New York City. I bought all of it. It was when I was still in college, and I actually had money. So I actually haven't bought anything since then, because I've been flat broke for the past 15 years. Haven't been able to afford any of that stuff. Joe Tyler Dale, thank you. Thank you for the $10 top chat thing. You're the first one to do that. Thank you. And I certainly appreciate the donation. These ground textures, again, they're all, I think they're right from the Tidewater Point route. This is a JR dirt texture, and this one is also JR. This one, this is WPTEX, so I think that's Where's Prada made that. So I'm gonna do a quick save, actually. Yes, David, exactly. Trainz is much cheaper than doing live modeling, and I'm not confined to any space. I could just build forever if I wanted to. So that's really what's nice. All right, the scene is coming along pretty good. Great. I'm glad you enjoy my work and my time, and yeah, I'm really glad that you guys enjoy what I do. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it without you. I don't want to sound like cliche or anything like that, but I didn't think when I started doing this YouTube thing, it was just kind of for fun. So the fact that you guys are actually getting a lot out of it, and I think that that's great. Gregory Anon, $2. Thank you. Chug bottles behind you. Thank you for that as well. What was I trying to say here? But yeah, I mean, the fact that you guys actually are getting stuff out of this. I get emails from you dudes, I don't know, at least one email a week, or a tweet, or a direct message, or something like that from somebody out there who is watching my videos, and I've inspired them to get back into the game, or I've inspired them to just work on their route or anything like that. And that's phenomenal. Like, I didn't expect to have that effect on you guys, honestly. So when you give me feedback like that, it means a lot to me, and it makes this makes all the work that I put into this worth it, to know that you guys are actually get some use out of it, which is great. This is just, for me, this is art. You know, I'm just, instead of doing a painting or a drawing or something like that, this is what I do. I guess, I don't know. Gavin, no, this is not the P&B. This is a totally new route that I just started working on Friday. Something I've been planning for a long time. I won't be doing any videos on it. It'll be a live stream only type of build and do on my own terms kind of build. I don't know what kind of timeline we're looking at to get it done. Oh, I need some of these guys. But yeah, this is just kind of my way of, I've been wanting to do some kind of a big city thing or this sort of urban deal short line. So this is just my fictional, totally out of my head fictional map. And I thought I'd bring you guys along for the ride. Initially, I didn't think I was even going to live stream this, but after I tweeted out some photos, I shared some photos on some of my social media stuff, and you guys seemed really into it, and I was like, you know, I guess I could live stream this. No harm in... Oh, I was putting trees down before, wasn't I? No harm in doing some live stream stuff. Let's see. That tree is too big for this. We need... Those are the apple trees, which I could probably pull out of my pick list now because I'm probably never going to place another apple tree ever again. By the way, Gregory, he says, chug bottles behind me. I can't... I guess you guys are seeing... Don't mind the mess. You're seeing these, and there's a story behind these. There's 4 of those bottles back there. Me and my buddies, when I was living in New York City and was working at a rental house for movie equipment, and I was a lighting technician, and we just had this. Somebody bought us a bottle of Jack Daniels as a gift, and for whatever reason, when we were done drinking it, I decided that I wanted to turn it into a lamp. So all 4 of those are actually. You could plug them in. They've got like Christmas lights in them and beads, and they light up. But the problem is when I moved, all the power got screwed up on them, all the connectors. So I have to fix that before I can plug them back in. But yeah, when I put them there, I was like, oh, this will look really cool when I live stream. I could turn them on, but all of the power plugs, because we drilled holes into the bottles and then we cut the ends of the Christmas lights off the plugs, the male and female plug. And then we rewired them back on, but they got yanked off, so I have to try to fix it before I can light them back up. And now, you know, now that I'm older and I'm living in a house, I'm like thinking to myself, like, this could be a bit of a fire hazard if I don't do this right. Not that I don't know how to do it. I was a technician, a lighting technician. I knew a lot about, and I still know a lot about electricity and stuff, but it's still one of those things where if you have just exposed copper hanging out, makes you a little bit nervous. I can't fill them up with alcohol because they're filled up with beads and Christmas lights. There's no room for anything else in there. And they have holes in the bottom, so you wouldn't be able to, it wouldn't hold anything anyway. Alright, so we're going to put some cars and stuff in here. I still feel like there's a lot that I need to do in here. But I also don't want to place too many assets. Maybe I just need to do a little bit more texturing, add some other stuff. Let's actually add some of these guys. Let me go to my shrub list here, because I think maybe if I just add a couple of small shrubs, that'll help. I don't know. Now I'm like using these TB trees, and then these shrubs just look like look all old. SoCal Rail Productions, what's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not going to use those. I'm going to stick with what I got. Let's throw another shrubbery over here. And then we're gonna put some, we need to put some stuff in that parking lot. I think I made a pick list for cars because I got tired of trying to find cars. So I'm just gonna go, pretty much just go right down the line. Boom, boom. Just add them in, willy-nilly. Again, another comment on this sort of thing, like, in city skylines, when you place down something like cars, you can just you could take one car asset and keep placing it like that, and it'll be a different color, which would be really useful for this, because you wouldn't have to have like 10 million assets. You could just have the one that has different skins on it, kind of like, and I wonder if you could do it, you know, like we have boxcars and gondolas and stuff like that have that gecko skin, or engines. I think it's called a gecko skin, where you could place it down multiple times and it's got a slightly different skin each time. I wonder if you could do the same thing with like cars and trucks and buildings and stuff like that. Maybe not. Can I put some cinematics of this up on Instagram? Yeah, probably once I get that far. I could do that sort of thing. Might do some cinematics. So yeah, eventually that'll come, but there's so much that's not even anywhere close on this. This route screams P&B. The thing is, I couldn't, it might have like that same sort of like P&B type feel, but I mean, the assets used, if I connected this to the P&B, it would just be like night and day. It would not work. Let's move this. What was I doing? I'm doing this. Keep getting distracted. I look over the chat and I'm talking to you guys, and then me forgets what I'm doing. And I think this is just enough space back here to have a parking lot. People could back in, get in and out of there fairly close enough, easily enough, you know? A tool that places down completely random cars, vans, and trucks. Yeah, that would be nice too, like a spline or something. I don't know. That would be probably pretty useful. So let's put a couple over here, and then we'll add a couple of trailers. I always like adding trailers. Maybe we could string some power lines back here as well. And we'll see how that goes. There we go. Cool, cool. I'm liking that. Maybe these trees are too much. Are these trees too much? Let me move them. Yeah, I think maybe these guys can stay. And maybe one more. Maybe that one. Let's get rid of these other ones. I think they're too much. I want it to feel overgrown, but not like crazy. This is the most friendly stream ever. I hope so. I hope everybody behaves. We're just here to chill out Sunday night, relax, play some Trainz, or do some building. I guess we're not really playing anything, really. Listen to some jazz right now, which is nice. Could put a couple of those there. And then my favorite detail here, the newspapers. Start adding these in. Oh boy. These newspapers really help. And then I got one other asset that I like that I think really helps bring this to life. I like putting the newspapers like right on the tracks too. And I'll put a couple there. Kind of just, I don't want to say spam them around because I am kind of thinking about where I'm putting them, but you know, just get a bunch all over the place. And I'll put one there. And then I've been using, here it is, JR 2x4 pile. I like this kind of crap. Just toss it around off to the side. Really makes it feel like this short line is not, this track is, it's used, but, you know, there's homeless people hanging out back there, or people dump their garbage, and, you know, there's just debris all over the place. Definitely really helps. Yeah, here we go. Throw another one over here. A cigar and a glass of brandy with this music, yeah. Garbage bags. We could. Catch you later, Jimmy Productions. Thanks for hanging out. I'm probably only going to stream for a few more minutes. I got to go to bed myself soon. Well, I'm going to be up really late, but I need to try to get myself to go to bed. Man, I was tweeting about this before, too. Daylight savings time. Ugh. Kills me, man. Kills me every single time. I think it's just because, wow, I can't use that. I'm just not a morning person to begin with, and then you know, now I lose an hour of sleep, and it just takes me weeks and weeks to recover from that. So like in the wintertime, I was waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning without any problem, and now I can't even, I'm like having a hard time getting out of bed at like 7:30 to go to work. Like wake up and just run out the door. What am I looking for here? Is it gonna be one of these? David's making a bunch of clutter. Yes. Awesome. What's up, Lovar? I think that's how you say your name. Yeah, I don't know why we do daylight savings anymore. It's just this antiquated, stupid thing. I'm not really even sure if I fully understand why we did it to begin with. People are always like, oh, it was because of the farmers, like something like, why didn't the farmers just get up early? Why do we all have to get up early? We're gonna sneak that there. What can we put over here? Let's put up a... No, I was going to put up a fence over there. I don't want to do that. Oh, you guys are talking about trains being corrupted or freezing. I'm going to do a save. Make me paranoid. All right, this is coming together pretty good. Pretty happy with how this is turning out. We can, let's see, let's do a little bit more, and then let's try to fill this up a little bit. And then, you know, we'll grab a train, and we'll just grab these cars and just see what it looks like to drive a train through here. And in fact, I'm gonna do, while I'm at it, let's just set up the TRC thing. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I gotta put the stoppers in. So let's do that quick. And then we can maybe do a little bit more building, and then we'll drive a train quick, and then we'll call it a night. There we go. Delete. Connect. There we go. Connect. I hate it. Sometimes it just doesn't connect. There we go. So we got that one. We got to do this one. We will use, what, the 12 maybe? I'm glad that the TRC is working out for you, NJP. That's always good to hear. Get that, get that, delete. And this connects here. There we go. I've got so many spline points going on in some of these areas. It's like, it gets confusing. All right, we got that, and we're not gonna do, I think so, just those 2 crossings. Yeah. This, I'm not gonna do that right now. I don't want to connect that one. It's gonna be a pain. So we'll just do this one. Let's see if I remember how to do this now. I got the stopper. I need the triggers. I need to look up TRC. TRC. Which one was it here? I guess either one of these. And we'll put that there. And then we're going to put one here. And because we're just doing this in order, we're going to call this 2 and 1. Oops. Number 1 would be the other one that I'm not going to do right now. And then we can name all these things. And it's going to be 2 and 2. 2 and 3. And 2 and 4. If I could possibly type. There we go. And then we gotta go back to this one. Do that. We want it set for 50, I think. The minimum. We want to stay open. Both. TRC, US barrier scenery. Yep, that should do it. And then we're gonna do it here. This will be 3. 3 and 1. 3 and 2. Did I do that right? Yeah. 3 and 3. 3 and 4. Okay, and that should be good. 50. 50. Stay open. Both. Check. All right, let's see. All right, so that's set up. Remember to turn on the bells. Yeah, I'll pass on that. I think they're off by default, right? I hope. There is no bell sound. Okay. No bells, please. No bells. All right. So let's see. I wanted to. I feel like I need to do something over here. Like this is pretty empty, but you know what? Let's just take this engine for a spin. And then we're gonna call it a night. And I'm just gonna do it in DCC mode. High junction overlays. I should probably turn the sound up. Is that really loud? That seems kind of loud. That didn't seem to change anything, but... All right, thank you, Lovar. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good night. So yeah, just running this engine for now because it looks like a nice leased sort of deal. Lovar Lockland. Cool. Good to know, man. I love the way that the engine looks on these old tracks, man. It's so cool. Should put the light on, I guess, right? So I guess we'll just connect to these cars and we'll just pull them down a little bit. Just want to get a feel for how the scene works, how it looks. It's hard to move around sometimes in this thing. And I'm trying to keep it kind of steady for you guys too, because I know if you move around too much with the YouTubes, it tends to get a little bit ugly. Yeah, a lot of this is going to be in the shadows, too, in the shade, because of the fact that it's running west to east. Alright, so let's see. I wonder how close we're going to get before the signal goes off. There we go. Pull up a little bit further. Why is this junction still locked? It's so irritating. There we go. I gotta switch that too, so that the junctions are a little bit smaller, shorter. Okay, good. They turned off. Perfect. So we did that part right, at least. I don't know why this is like so jumpy. And oh, we're not switched in the right way. I forgot about that switch. And I figured maybe through here there'd be like what do they call it? A quiet zone, or no horns, because we're going behind all these apartments. So as much as I hate the sound of the bell, maybe the engine is just ringing the bell the whole time that he's going through here until he gets out of the residential areas, gets away from the apartments. But it does look really nice from like this angle, lighting wise and everything. I am doing well. Awesome Trainz 21. Thanks for asking. Just gonna test out the train real quick, and then we're gonna call it a night here. Call it a Sunday night, because that's what it is. Sundays are tough. It's like if this was real life, I could picture myself like hanging out down here, like looking down the yard here, watching them switch. So I like that idea. I considered maybe even not having any flashers for these intersections here, or these grade crossings, and just having it be like a stop and flag sort of situation, but kind of like the idea of the old crossings too. Let's try to look at it from here. I like the idea of like the train popping out from behind the building. Let's see if hopefully these will activate. Nope. Why are we not activating? So I guess the TRC thing is a little glitchy. There it goes. Or maybe I have it too close. I'm not sure. That might have been part of the problem. That looks cool. Cool seeing it go like behind these buildings. I love that. Yeah, it might cut back some of these trees too. I don't know. Are these going off? Yep. Oh. Cool, cool. I don't know, maybe the speed limit through here would be like 5 miles an hour or something. Keep it kind of slow. Yeah, that looks sick. Love it. Yes, this looks really cool too. Definitely enjoying this. These angles are really good. Oh yeah, I'll give you guys the Discord link in just a moment. Yeah, this looks pretty sick, I gotta say. Pretty happy with how it's turning out. Just stop it here. Turn off the stupid bell. Cool, I like that. I like the way that this feels. I like the way that it's looking. I'll have to figure out how I'm gonna transition from sort of these downtown, all these downtown buildings into a more residential, suburban sort of neighborhood. Just so I don't have to keep laying all these down because it's really a lot of work. I've been trying to copy and paste, but again, like it doesn't paste in the right place or anything. So that's kind of a pain. And I'll have to figure out what to do going down this way and stuff like that. Obviously, it's just give me a long-term work in progress. But I'm really happy with the way that it's looking initially. And if I'm excited for it in the beginning, then that means that I'm more likely to keep doing it and not just abandon the idea or something. So, but I'm liking the way that looks. Let me put the link to the Discord chat channel into the chat box there. Let me get it open. So if you're not already on Discord, you can join. I'm gonna make it a temporary thing. All right, so there's the link to the Discord. Head on over there if you're new. Introduce yourself. But I think that's gonna do it for tonight, dudes. I might try to live stream this a little bit more again in the future. Obviously, I would like to do this mostly during live streams, and I don't know. I'll probably do a lot of it off camera and stuff too. But I'll share screenshots and all that kind of thing. I've been sharing stuff on Discord. I now have a Facebook page. If you guys didn't catch that in my last video, go head over to my Facebook page. You can follow me there, Instagram, Twitter, all those things. Yeah, so I'm looking over here, but my camera's over here. Anyway, dudes, thanks for hanging out. That's gonna do it for tonight. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this build and the stuff that I do. Helps keep me motivated and all that good stuff. So enjoy the rest of your night, and have a nice week, and hopefully I have a nice video for you guys on Friday. So thanks again for hanging. See you next time.